Okay, so let's start by writing some code. Okay, say let's the name of our variable number equal. We want to write an array. Remember our definition of array, right? We say that array have the same data type and a strict number of content, right? The egg and the carton that we use to illustrate it. I hope you can remember. If not watch the video, please do well and go and watch that video. So 30, 40, 50. And so this is an array, right? This is an array, and you just say path equal numbers 1 to 4. I'll just do print ln. Just print parts. Sorry. So this is a very simple. This piece of code here I just wrote is a very simple illustration of what slice looks like, right? So, and slice are used majorly in arrays and vectors. So let's just see what a slice is. Okay, looking at our definition. So here you say that a slice is a way to look at a part of an array or string without copying or owning it, right? And it's like reference. Okay, but now this slice is now talking about a collection of items. Like you're trying to borrow, you don't want to borrow the full item. Okay, let me just use, let's say that you have a slice of bread. Let's say one big bread, of slices of bread, right? And you don't want to own this bread, or a better illustration to this is a book. So you borrow a book from a friend, and that book you just want to look at maybe from page 5 to page 10 of that book. You don't really want to actually own the book or look at the entire book, but there is a specific part of the book that you just want to glance through and go your way, right? That's what slides looks like. It's just like a collection of items, but in that collection of items you just want to pick just few things and go your way. And that few things you're picking is just that you want to borrow it and do something with it, and you still return it back, right? The book illustration, you're borrowing this book to just look at page 5 to page 10 and still return the book back to the owner, right? That's what it looks like. So what I just wrote down here is just that you think of it as zooming in a piece of data. You're zooming into a piece of data to just maybe select few items. In Ross book, the definition is like they call it a contagious. That English is too big for me, right? Like, but this is a very broken down definition of what slice looks like. Okay, and going back to our code, this is what we are talking about. Now remember that this is now a collection of items, right? This is a collection of items, that is an array. Okay, and we said in our definition that it can be an array or strings or vectors actually, and we've not talked about vectors, we still talk about it. Okay, and now this is what we're talking about here. Now inside this array, all slice does is that it helps us to just target to just few items in our collection. We don't want to own it, so we just want to target from 1 to 4, index 1 to index 4. Okay, that's the items you want to look into and use it and do whatever you want to do. We are not owning this data. Remember this ampersand here, that's what reference means, right? We are not owning this data, we are just borrowing it to do something and we return it back. And so let's actually try and run this and see what will happen. Okay, and see what will be print out. Okay, as okay, my terminal is still loading. Let's give it some time. Okay, and while it's still loading, So I just want to encourage us to try as much as possible to pay close attention to giving your best to understanding how things works, right? You don't just watch a video once and say it doesn't make sense, or you don't understand it. Try to give it your thought, right? Give it your attention, you get it. It's not difficult actually. Okay, so let's just do cargo run. Just do cargo run here, cargo run, and we see what will pop up. Okay, so far so good. Our compiler is still fine, there is no error here. So let's give it some time and see what will come out from this our code. Boom, our code is back. Okay, so this is what it returned. It just returned 3. Now I will still explain what this means in the subsequent video, right? We said 1 to 4 and it is returning 3. We still explain it. Okay, now slides don't own the data, right? And they just want to use this data, do a specific task, and still return the value for you. Let me still write another code to explain what we are saying. So let's say let's declare another variable. Let's name equal string. First of all, we use an array, right? Let's use a string to explain this. From my name is Victor. Let me write Victor here. You can put in your name. Just put this and say let's slice equal name, and here I just want to have access to this, to just these 3 items here, my first 3 names, like the first 3 words of my name, right? That's what I want to have access to. I don't want to have access to the whole name, just want to use these 3 names. So this is what I will do, is just to do 0 dot double dot and 3, right? And I will have access to my names and everything will be fine. So let me just do print, do same print ln. Okay, then I just do slice and save this and just come here around this and see what will happen. I'll close this. So look, I go run. Look, I go run again and see what's happened. So it just printed out the first 3 letters of my name. And I just want to start by saying something, okay? Now look at this slide again. Now when you might actually be surprised why this is working this way. I mean, if you're talking about 1 to 4, it should be from 10 to 40, right? Why is it printing from 20 to 40? And it should be four items that should be listed here. Why 3? Now look at this diagram. This is what is happening. Okay, rows is 0 index, so that means this 10 is 0 and this 20 is 1 and this 2 is 30, this 3 is 40, this 4 is 50. And so immediately I said, let me close this terminal. Immediately I call this 1 to 40. So I mean, I'm just emphasizing the fact that we want to start from this 20 to this 4. Remember, the 4th item here will be here, right? Because 0 1 2 3 4, the 4th item should be here, right? And what happens is that you're just telling us to start from the first item and stop at the 3rd item. So this 4 here is just kind of saying minus the 4th item, right? This is just what is happening in this place. So you're slicing out just 1 2 3 minus the 4th item, right? This is just it's just like saying that I want this item just from here to here. If you say from 1 to 2 or from 3 to 4, is just taking out the first 3 spaces, right, and returning it to you. That's how slice works. and this is just basically what is happening here. Okay, this is just what is happening here. And if you come to this point also, if you come to this Victor will start from 0, right? 0 will be 1 2 0 1 2, right? So the third item here should be this, right? But it just return VIC, right? And so this is just basically how it works. We are saying that you should just return the first three items and leave the rest alone, just from this margin 0 to this 3. That's what I'm looking out for, right? Let me just go back to our terminal again. Now this is what is happening. So I'm saying that you should return in this Victor. Now I'm just telling the compiler or us to just return the first three items, right? Just return the first three items. And what I'm telling Rust here is to return the first three items from 1, right? Starting from 1, just return the first three items. So if I do like this 3 now, what I should be expecting is just 20 and 30. You guess it, right? What I should be expecting is just 20 and 30, and and not actually that this is it. That's what I'm talking about. Just 20 and 30. That's how slice works, right? If you're expecting to get maybe from 0, let's say you're expecting to get from 10 to 40, what you have to do is just to write 0 index, starting from the first item to the fourth item. Now this is 0 1 2 3, right? Now what you now do is to write the fourth item, and you're telling us is just from the first item to the third item that you're looking at for. You're not the last word or the last alphabet or the last number is excluded from the item, right? This is just basically what is happening here. And let me just say 0 1 2 3 4. Let's say 4 and see what will happen. Okay, so it's just returning the first four items, right? Just running for the first four items, and is excluding this, right? Is excluding this. And so this is how Rust work. Using this our diagram here, you should be able to understand how this thing happens. Okay, and so moving forward, let's talk about some syntax, how to access items in Rust using the Rust slice syntax. Okay, let me close this. Now there are so many ways to do this. Let me just I think I'll just go down here and just write on. Let's say let word equal hello. This is a string literal, right? This is a string literal. Let's say word equals to, let's say let s1. We are trying to find different way to express ourselves when we want to select items, right? S1 equals. Now remember, you must add this ampersand, then word, right? And what you really want to extract, that's the items you're trying to borrow and look into, okay, or modify as the case may be. Do you understand? So I just want to have access to dot 2. Okay, just bring this into 3 other. Let me just do this in 3 more times, and okay, 1 2 3. So I'll just change this words to 2. I change this one to 3. Then I'll change this to 2 dot dots, and change this to just this dot dot. And so if you print, we do print ln and do let's say we print it just one at a time, and to be able to understand what we are doing. Okay, s1, right? Okay, so S2 and S3. Okay, S3. So let's open our terminal once more. I shall just drag this up and do cargo run again. So now this is what is happening. Pay close attention. Now you now notice that every of our method of accessing these items here is valid. There is no error, right? And this is what all of this is saying. So putting this dot is just that you want to access all the items. You just want to borrow all the items in that array or that variable or that string, right? This is what it means. Like I want to actually borrow all the items here, right? And this what this one is saying is that I just want to start from the second index. Okay, I want to start from the second index to the last index of that array or that item. Or you can still do it this way. I want to start from the zero index. I want to start from the zero and push it to the last index of that variable or that string or what you're trying to borrow, right? And what this one is just saying is that from the last, I want to just access the first two index, right? I want to just access this first two index. I want to access H and E only, right? I don't, that's the two index I want to access, right? You just want to access this two index, and so just those two words I want to access instead of writing something like let's say to 0 to 2, right? So writing 0 to 2, I just simply write 2 dot 2, okay, to know that I'm starting from the beginning, just stopping at the second index, right? Starting from the beginning, and you give me everything from that beginning till before this second index. Remember that this is zero index, right? 0, H is 0, 1 is E, 2 is L. So I want every item from H to before the second index, which is L, and it returns this, right? And what this is saying is that I want every index from 0 till the end of the array or string, right? And what this one is saying is just that I want to access all of the item or the content of this array or vector or string, right? That's just what this syntax are simply saying. Okay, I hope it really makes sense, right? You guys understand what I'm saying, because it can be a little confusing sometimes. So the only understanding you need to understand is this definition of what slice are, right? That slice is a way to look at part of an array or a string without copying or owning it. So this is a group of something. It's like it's like you order the pizza, right? You order the pizza and there is a bulk of pizza. Now you don't want to own all of the pizza, or the pizza you just want to have access to just maybe three sides of the pizza, right? Not all of them. Just take the three sides of the pizza. If you want to you just want to eat it or use it and do something and return it back, assuming you will return it if you're a good person. Okay, so that's simply what slides are. Okay, unlike referencing is more that is pointing, it's not pointing to a collection. This is pointing to a collection that is actually not owning or copying that collection, right? Is this one specifically to collections, while referencing points to strings majorly, right? That's just the difference between this and referencing, right? That's borrowing. And so moving forward, let's talk about functions with slides, okay, and see how functions work with slides. I'll just comment out this and try as much as possible to pay close attention. Pay close attention. So let's write some function. Fn print print underscore slice. I'll just write a parameter here, slice. And remember our the way we explained what reference are using using functions actually. And here the difference is just that you put this in a square bracket, right? That is need for that. That's why you have to pay attention to how the syntax works. The syntax are a little bit different. No more these slides that there have been much more of introducing square bracket, square bracket here and there, right? Or other than reference where there is no square brackets. So what you have to do is just to um, do so for number, okay, in slice, okay, print print ln print ln and oops okay, so I'll just do number and this is it. Okay, so I'll come to the main and just declare what I want to declare. So let's say let number, okay, equal to an array of items, right? Let's say an integer, okay, and this integer is majorly an unsigned integer. Let's because it's just positive numbers here, right? Talked about it previously. Just positive numbers here, 40, 50. So just close this. And so creating a slice of this array, what it looks like. Okay, so you just say let slice equal numbers 1, 2, 4. You just close this. Oops. Okay, this should be ampersand, not 7. Oops, ampersand, not 7. Right. Okay. Okay. I will now say we will now have to pass this slice inside of our function, right? This was our function print. Just pass this slice inside of our function and we are good to go. Okay, so let me just close this. So this is what is happening here. This is iterating through this item. Let me clean this first and let's just be visualizing it as explaining what is inside here. So this is what is happening here. Okay, I believe we saw the code, right? Now the iteration was started from 20, right, and stopped at 40. And so this is just what is happening. Iteration is just iterating through an item till a certain command or a certain rule is met, right? And so this was happening here. This logic was created here, and now this was the slides did. So we want you to iterate from index 20, the index 1, which is 20, right, to index 40, which is after the fourth index, which is index 3. Sorry, not 40. So index 3, we are saying you should iterate from index 1 to index 3, which is before index 4. Alright, that's simply what the logic is saying. I want you to go from index 1 to index 3. So anything from 1 to before 4, you just want you to iterate to it. So it started from 20 and stopped at 4. And you just pass these slides here and we are good to go. So this is just what how to use slice in function. Okay. Okay, so let's write another code. Okay, let's just write a function, just something random and see how it goes. So what this code you want to write is you just want to first find the first word of anything actually. Okay, just the first word, just of a sentence or of a string that is being stored, of an array, just the first word of an array or a string. That's what the logic will be doing. And what we'll do is just to clean up this, and clean up this and so we just let's just write this code here. We just do fn first underscore word. We're trying to write the logic for our function. Okay, this parameter string, and it will return a string literal. Return a slice string. Return a slice string. Let pos equal to s dot find. Okay. Dot unwrap or wrap underscore, or just follow me, s dot len. Okay, and sbb dot pos. So find, I said thing. So let's just declare something inside here. Okay, real quick. So just select word equals first, or let okay. Let's use another name. Let's sentence with much more to this equal string dot from hello. Okay. Okay, so you say let word equal first word, and you are passing in this string sentence here. Okay, so why is this system showing an error already? So you say let's not find, because it's a string that you're passing. Why this was showing error? Because remember what you talked about character, okay, char, that it goes with this single quotation mark, while strings goes with double quotation marks. That was why it was actually throwing that error there for us. So you just do print ln, and this is the first word. This is the first word. Is this English for us? Yes. Word. Right. So let's see what see. Okay. So let's see the first word I've printed out here. Okay. It is our. So let me finish this sentence. Because it will just print only this, and let's just make it a very big word. Hello world. Hello blockchain world. So this is what the string will be storing. This is the first word, and it's really return only the comma, right? So let's find out why it's just returning only this comma, not returning anything for us. So let's figure it out together. Okay, just now return only the quotation mark and they return any other thing for us. Okay, we're making progress. So why are you not returning this hello for us? What's wrong? So I guess it's because we didn't space this. We didn't space this. Let's go back and see try again. Because our compiler is actually fine. Wow, okay, so now this is it. So our goal was to make sure that this our function, this our logic function, just return the first word in the sentence for us. So what happened is just that it went from the first letter alphabet here to the first space. Okay, it just went from the first alphabet to the first space in our sentence and returned it for us. Okay, just from the first word, the first head here to before the first space, just return this for us. So that's just what is happening here. Okay, this is just what is happening here, and and our code is very fine. Okay, so let's talk about mutable slices. Okay, let's see how mutable slices works. So what I did was just to comment out this. Okay, so we just mutable slice. Just see how mutable slice works. Okay, just write should we create I guess we just write everything in this scope, right? Let's mute. Okay, I'm ready to go. Let's mute scores equal 10, 20, 30. Okay, why this is still showing an error is because I commented the return function out. So just want to see how mutable slice works. Say let slice equal mute scores, and the same way references are by default immutable, that's how slice are by default immutable. Okay, just 0.2 and close this, and we just do slice. You just want to access only the first index and modify it. Okay, that's what you want to do. So you just want to modify the first index here, right? This 0. So we have actually picked out the range of the value we are looking for, which is from 0 to this. Okay, this 2, that's what you're looking for. But now you just want to modify only the first index, which is 0. And so if you print this out, it should return back 90 and 20. Okay, should. So let's see what will be returned here. Print ln okay, question mark and slice. Okay, so let's say hello cargo run and see what will be returned, right? 99 and 20, right? We've been able to modify this from 10 to 99. Okay, because if you would have print this before this modification, let's try and do that. Okay, and see what will happen. And see the different values. So the first one should print 10 and the second one should print, the first one printed 10, but after the modification it printed out 99, right? So this is how referencing work in immutability. Okay, by default they are immutable by default, but if you want to be able to modify what you borrowed, okay, what you borrowed, you have to still follow the same process, and it's just a little bit the same with referencing. just that the syntax are now a little bit different, right? They are still borrowing items, they are pointing to an item, but what they are pointing is now different based on storage. Okay, these are pointing to collections, while reference is pointing to a valid data, right? Specific valid data. Okay, now this is just basically what referencing, what slices are. Okay, and I want you to note that in slices, okay, you have to pay close attention to two major things, right? Now in slices under the hood, okay, has two things in common. They focus on the pointer, right? They focus one on the pointer, and secondly the length of the item you want to borrow or you want to slice, right? So the pointer now, this is 0. The pointer now is pointing from the item 0, the index 1 0, right? Let me go back here to our slide. So the pointer now will be from here. I'm pointing to the index 0 here, okay, to the length. So it's talking about pointers and length. So that's the two things that the slices have in mind. That's the two things that you have to pay attention to when you want to write syntax in slice. Okay, you have to talk about the pointer, where it should start, because all of our code here we wrote started somewhere, and you have to also pay attention to the length. Where are we going to stop, right? That's the two things you have to pay attention to. And if you're able to do this, congratulations, you'll be able to understand what slides are. Slides just talk about referencing, borrowing items in collections, right? Borrowing items in collections like arrays and vectors and strings. So this is basically what arrays slices are. And I wish you good luck. I wish you to be able to go and revisit this video and try as much as possible to pay close attention. And I know you really understand whatever it is that this video has to offer to you, because there's a lot of things to actually juicy out from this video. There's a lot actually, and starting from where we talked about the number, this, right? Talked about this, how arrays, the when we are defining arrays, talked about it using strings, right? We talked about the different syntax, different ways to access slices, to use slices, right? And we're able to print out some things here, right? And you now know that these things has pointers from one. This is the pointer, this is where I'm starting, to a particular end. So this is, I want you to go from this point to the length before this 4. That's where what I want you to slice out, right? And you just want to use it and do whatever you want to do. And so this function was able to just print out, what this function did was to just print out the first word in our sentence, right? And what we did here was just to understand what immutability in slice really means. Okay, and this is where we wrote our function. Okay, this is where we wrote our function, okay, using slice. And this was our second function also. Okay, so we actually wrote two functions here in slice. And I hope you really understood what functions slices are, and understand specifically that they are not that complex, they are very simple. I know why I use this definition I use, because the normal Rush book use a very big word to describe it. So, and this is just to simplify it for us to understand, okay, so that there will be much more clarity in whatever we are doing. Okay, so try as much as possible to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not. And our goal is still simple, going towards blockchain technology. And I know it will take a time, because we are building, I'm building people from understanding the core fundamentals of this language to the point where they can start building amazing projects from the language. And also on the blockchain itself is a wonderful place you want to be. So do well to subscribe to this channel and stick tuned and stay around. I'll see you guys in my next video.